What up?
What's up, buddy?
Nice to see you.
Okay, now I'm underdressed.
What do you mean?
Real talk, my goal is to ask you some questions you've never been asked before. I want to take a stroll through your mind. Ready to get vulnerable? Ready for this?
I vividly remember the first time I heard about you because someone said to me, and I quote, "Have you seen the hot guy on The Perfect Couple?" That is literally everyone in my world. Like, have you seen the hot brown guy on The Perfect Couple? And I was like, who's this guy? Let me look him up. And I was like, oh, his name's Ishaan. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you probably get objectified a lot. I know in LA you were the hot brown guy in The Perfect Couple. And so in this conversation, what I want to do is go deeper than your abs, deeper than your aesthetics, and actually get to know you as the person you are.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, Lilly.
Of course.
I think everybody gets described by their looks. You know,
Yeah.
a few years ago, I was the guy with the mop on his head, the
Really?
goofy guy, and now it's like, you know, whatever.
You went from goofy guy to
Whatever you
hot
said.
guy? Wow.
Whatever you
The glow
said.
up.
It's whatever they need, right?
You started not as an actor. You are not formally trained in acting, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
started.
I've done not formally trained, but I've done whatever was within access to me. I never went to like acting school or film school.
Mhm.
But I did theater courses. I spent a lot of time at film festivals. That was kind of like my university.
Right.
I did like 3 years at any film festival that was within access to me. So the Mumbai Film Festival, Mami,
Mhm.
IFFI. And then I did, I AD'd. I was an assistant director. So that was kind of a big learning ground for me.
Yeah.
So I did various different things that prepared me as an actor and informed my craft as an actor.
Mhm.
But I didn't just do them to grow as an actor. I mean, these were all things I wanted to explore. You know,
Right.
for example, being behind the lens, I really wanted to learn the craft. And when I say the craft, I mean all of it. You know, editing, cinematography, music, art, all of it that goes into making movies.
Yeah.
But obviously, my core is I'm a performer, and I don't even remember when I started. Like, I think it before my memory even begins, I've been dancing and acting.
And your mom is an artist, right?
She is.
What kind of artist is she?
She was the first dancer in her family. She was born to linguists and literature people, basically. You know, they were authors, translators, journalists.
Mhm.
This is my maternal grandfather and grandmother, Anwar Azim sir and Khadija Azim. And my mom was born in Moscow, and she grew up in Delhi. And I think at the age of 9 or 10, she kind of became like a professional dancer.
Wow, at 9 or 10?
Yeah.
Wow.
By the age of 14, she was on a postage stamp of the country, representing the country. She's an exponent of Kathak. Her teacher is the great Pandit Birju Maharaj. Anybody who's had the privilege of having him as a guru know that, you know, he is one of the greatest teachers of anything in the world. But he's the one who put Indian classical dance and Kathak specifically on the map on a global stage. And so she was touring at a very young age, and she started as a dancer. And then she also went on to act. So this is something that kind of is a very beautiful thing that we all share. It's like almost like an inherited passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we were never really, like, I don't remember ever being pushed into it and being like, you know, do this. It's just
Right.
we always found our way to it. And you grow up in that environment, grow up with classical Indian music and dancing and films and, you know.
So you mentioned that you learned a lot about film you worked on sets, you were an AD, you also went to a lot of film festivals. What did you learn about creativity from your mom?
You know, the one thing that comes to mind right now is devotion. I think I've learned devotion from her because, you know, if you're lucky enough to be born with a gift, it's something you can't take credit for, but it only starts giving you back when you've given something to the craft, you know, and that literally means blood, sweat, and tears. And, you know, that it's, you know how they say it's the work that you put when nobody's watching that makes a champion. Being buckled over, you know, hands on your knees, sweating. Like, that's the image of all the greats and the goats that I guess, you know, is what made them who they are. So she would do 10 hours of tatkar, which is footwork.
Wow.
As a child, 8 hours, 10 hours sometimes. It's like literally like that jacket on, jacket off kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Karate Kid. So you drill it till it becomes part of who you are. And then it expands, right? Creativity is like, you're a channel. basically. So it's not about it's coming from me. It's like you have to allow it to come through you. You know, you have to be open for it to come through you.
So how your mom is with dance is how you think you are with acting? You get that? You have that same devotion?
I know I'm devoted to it, and I know I'm hopelessly in love with it. You know, I've put in, I'm not counting, but I've, you know, definitely tried to put in my 10,000 hours. You know, they say it takes 20 years to make an actor, and if I'm counting from when I started as a baby, then maybe I'm like close, but or like I'm there. But no, yeah, I think you live and you learn, you know, and it's one of those things you can never have enough of learning. You know, all that can happen is you can be uninspired and therefore not create opportunities, or you know, but there's learning never stops. You know, it keeps growing and expanding as you keep growing, expanding.
Totally. Correct me if I'm wrong, you were raised with a single mother, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part. I'm asking this question specifically as the man you've become today. So not even the actor. I'm talking personal life now. What is one quality of the man you are that you know came directly from being raised by your single mom?
Openness, I guess. As I grow older, I think to me the values of kindness and compassion and empathy are becoming more and more important. Like I have more and more respect for people who have that. I think it's a quiet strength. So hopefully being able to access that more easily. And also at least the willingness to understand the opposite, you know, the opposite gender. You know, I get along with women easily. I do have, you know, best friends that are women. Yeah, and it doesn't, you know, and don't get me wrong, like I have my day oneers, my boys that have been with me since school, and that's a very different relationship. But I really cherish the women in my life, and I think some of the strongest, if not all of the strongest people I know in my life are women. So maybe just being comfortable around.
That's great. That's a really important quality. You know, a lot of people that are raised by single mothers, there's this whole conversation around it's really important for sons to have an influence of a father or an influence of a mother, but a lot of kids are raised by single parents. It's a very common thing.
Yeah.
You watched your mom navigate both roles, mother and father, right? What was that experience like? Did you ever see her do something or have to provide in a way where you're like, oh, for me, it's just my mom doing it?
In many ways, I did see my mom double up a lot of my childhood. I did also grow up with an elder brother who was like 15 years older than me. So he was in many ways like a parental figure, you know, by default. So it's a very interesting relationship again there, where it's like now we're like more like pals and like brothers, but there is going to be a line of respect always because he's like changed my diapers.
Yeah.
So every argument ends with like, you know, like fuck up, like I'm older than you, like like. But yeah, I think with mom it's been just watching her navigate every phase of her life, trying to do her best, and also being a very liberal kind of parent where, you know, she had me when she was about 36. She had my brother when she was 21 or 22. So they were like friends, you know, they were like pals. And then she had me a little later in the day, and but she still maintained that kind of vibe and friendship with me, where I felt I could share anything with her, and I could, I didn't have to hesitate, you know. And I think that probably has contributed to the person I've become in many ways. I think I may, not that I overshare, but I think I'm definitely sometimes honest to a fault. So, yeah, I'm just glad that I had a parent that I didn't feel like I needed to hide from or lie to.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You've talked in an interview recently about how your mother sacrificed a lot. And I really relate to that. I think all of our parents have sacrificed stuff, you know, which they see kid has not heard their parents be like, because of you, I get reminded every day what my parents couldn't do because they had me. Every day I get reminded.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah, of course. Of course. But you talked about how you've seen your mom sacrifice parts of herself.
Yeah.
Talk more about that.
The one thing to, I think, acknowledge is while you're a parent or a guardian, you're also doing that part of your life for the first time individually. You know, like if you're a parent in your 20s, you're living your 20s for the first time.
Yeah.
You're allowed to make mistakes, you know, and we all make mistakes. And if anything, you have more pressure, more responsibilities, you're likely to break more often. So I think anything that's worth it requires sacrifice. But the way in which working women who are also parents, give those parts of themselves is like, you have to be a superwoman. And I've seen her make those choices, whether it's taking a job that gives more consistent pay, but, is not something that you see yourself doing or creatively excites you, or, taking that job just to be able to run the house and have that security and that kind of stuff. She's done that for the better part of, one's childhood. And you've seen that. So the artist in her is a very big part of who she is. It's a huge part of who she is. And she's put that second to the mother in her often. And I've seen that,
I'm always trying to like navigate the difference between, because you're right, everybody sacrifices in life to some extent. I think a lot of times women are put in a situation where they're expected to sacrifice also.
Exactly.
It's one thing to be willing, like actually like in my heart, I wanna sacrifice. But there's an expectation for a lot of women to sacrifice as well. And I'm trying to navigate, like, even when I think about my own mom or my own life, I'm like, when did she willingly give up something? And when was she very much so expected to give up? And I think that's the distinction that,
I mean, we've all kind of grown up in a largely patriarchal world, society, and some places are like double down on it.
Right.
So I think this is a very good conversation to have going forward for the evolution of the human race in general. Like, like what is expected,
right,
and what is a willing sacrifice. And I do think that I'm hearing more and more of this, at least in my own life, from the women in my life. It's very important to be open to that conversation and also express yourself. Like as a man, it's my responsibility also to share the male experience. And we're all learning and growing, and the idea is to grow together, It's just that much easier when you have an open channel and an open kind of conversation with the women in your life. And it's not uncomfortable. Like I feel in a lot of households, that's not the norm. You don't talk about things that are vulnerabilities so easily. Also, something that I've recently read that I keep going back to that's really interesting to me is, and I think it's a mirror to society, is that most men are they're not raised to be men. They're just raised not to be women. And that, like when I read that really hit. Like it makes sense, I see it around me a lot. It's almost like a weakness to be vulnerable. It's all, you're taught not to cry early on. You're not taught to process and share your emotions. Sometimes you're encouraged not to. And I do think that that's a very enviable quality in a lot of women. Not saying that all women have that quality.
No, but it's true.
But it's true. Like I feel it's much easier for women to process their emotions, feel them, and release them. And then be able to move on, There was a comedian called Abhishek Upmanyu who did this stand-up show, and he was talking about why you mostly hear about men having heart attacks. Is that, and I don't mean to trivialize and laugh at it, but it's because men don't know how to feel and process and share emotion.
Yeah. The patriarchy negatively impacts everyone. Men feel like they can't express themselves. Women feel like they don't have access to opportunities. It's terrible for everybody. Yeah. It's the greatest scam passed down from generation to generation, truly. I'm curious though, because you seem like you are pretty in tune with your emotions. You being raised by a mother, I can imagine you have a level of emotional intelligence. Do you have a lot of guy friends? You said your day one bros, the boys. Do you talk about feelings with them a lot? Do you guys open up? Really?
Yeah, we do.
And
I'm proud of that. I mean, some conversations are just like silly.
Of course. Yeah.
And like, surface level, and just like sometimes you just need to let off some steam and like play PlayStation and have a FIFA night. But I think every now and then, and I also find myself often being the one who's like nudging the other guys to be like, what's up? What's going on? And I do also feel like more of late I felt I understand when I'm going through something and I need to share, or I need perspective, or, So I've also been asking for help. Like I don't hesitate to call up my boys and be like, I think I need to talk, And they've always been there for me, which I'm very grateful for. And but I think we can all do better. Often it goes unnoticed, and I'm not the best at it myself. Like I don't have it down on lock. You know, like there have been many times where I've been caught off guard with emotion. Like there's something that's pent up, there's something I've not processed. And then it starts coming out in different ways. It manifests in different forms. You become difficult to deal with because you're still carrying your own baggage. So, you know, you can't take on more from other people, or you can't really, if you've not processed your own feelings, it's hard to share others. And then you become a bit unbearable to be around people if you're like too self-involved, too, you know. So it's very important to like take care of your shit.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I always know when I'm being a horrible person, I'm like, this is about me. This is about no one else. This is about me. 100%.
It helps to give a disclaimer.
When you're talking to the boys, you calling up the boys, is there any subject area where you still feel a little nervous or insecure to share about?
Good question. I'm going to give it a think, okay? So I give you an honest answer.
That's fine. Should I share one of mine to give
some
perspective?
Please, I'll help.
Because I feel like I'm pretty good at being vulnerable. I've gotten a lot better at picking up the phone and calling my friends and saying I need help. I used to be horrible at asking for help. I used to want to figure out everything by myself. But I've gotten better at being like, hey, I need you to come to my house today. I need someone to talk to. I'm feeling really low. I need to pick me up. The one area I really struggle with still is if I feel like I've failed. So I can call my friends about, I feel overwhelmed, please come over. I feel burnt out, please come over. I'm feeling really upset. I had an argument with someone, please help me through this. I need advice. But if I feel like I have failed at something, I really struggle to, one, admit that. And two, I struggle to let people come in on that conversation because I don't want people to see my failure. I don't want them to think I can't take care of things and provide in a way. So discussing failure, I just close up when it comes to that. Like say if a movie came out or a review was bad about something, I can't let people into that. I'm just mourning on my own when it comes to failure specifically.
Mourning on your own.
Yes, just mourning on my own. Yeah.
It's interesting. I think that maybe, you know, I can see that. I can relate to that as well to some degree. You do want to process that on your own. And sometimes it feels like maybe too big a mountain to surpass or to climb to share it. It's a very personal thing as well, because failure and success are subjective to some degree. Like I've been raised to have my own read on things and be an individual and be independent. And I think that independence is probably a big part of my personality and who I've become today. It's very interesting to see how different people perceive failure and success. You know, like in my eyes, and I have been hard on myself for a lot of my growing years. And I feel now I'm beginning to like cut myself some slack. I don't want to be hard to the point where it in some way paralyzes me. But I don't think I have a problem sharing my failures or acknowledging them. I think I have a problem sometimes processing it, you know, or recognizing it. And it helps to get perspective from others for me to find my way to it. Especially people that matter to me.
Right.
You know, I don't know if this factors in, but I'm a Scorpio, so I'm very like, I have a small circle, but I'm a fairly emotional person. Aren't we all?
Of course.
In some way or the other.
Some of us just hide it better than others.
Some of us just hide it better than others. And I'm like a diehard loyalist. So the people that matter to me really matter to me. And I'm emotional about them. But I'm grateful to have people around me who have kept me grounded. Like, you know, they'll show me a mirror. Sometimes like by throwing it at me.
Yeah.
But they won't lie to me, you know, at the cost of me becoming, at the cost of me losing myself.
Yeah, they'll keep you in check.
They keep me in check.
Yeah. If you were to call one of your guy friends for no reason, just to check in, would he think that's weird?
Right now?
And ever. I'm saying if you were to call a guy friend and say, hey, I'm just calling to check in, see how you are.
Not at all. No.
I asked because
in fact, my best friend, for example, he will miss 30 of my calls before calling me back. He's a pain in the ass. And I'm still like, you know, at some point I'm just like, who the hell needs this guy? Like, but now he's your best friend.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's just a majburi you have to live with, kind of thing. But we're almost like telepathic. Like we get each other, we complete each other's sentences.
Aww.
But dude will disappear on me, you know. And I tell him off for it. I'm like, dude, you can't be unreliable, man. Like you can't be like, I'm gonna let him. I let him hear it. But it's a personality thing, you know. And when he's there, he's like 100% in, and then he's a space cadet. Also, he's a Capricorn. I don't know if that...
You belong in LA. I love how you know everyone's star sign. You belong in LA.
My mom has put this thing into my mind, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't believe in superstition. And then now I'm like, oh, I see the signs. Like, maybe it's just confirmation bias. And then my other best friend is the opposite, like, he often will call in and check on me and be
just to check up on you.
What's up? Yeah.
The reason I asked was there was a viral video on Instagram a few months ago, and so many people shared it with me. And it's this men calling their friends to just say goodnight, and all of them have a terrible reaction. They're all like, "What do you mean you're calling me to say goodnight? Why are you calling me?"
Should we do it?
I kind of want to.
Should we do it? I'm a bit scared of what might happen.
But you're telling me if you were to call your friend right now and just check up on them.
And just be like, I just want you to have a good night.
Yeah, they would be fine with that.
Yeah, let's see what happens. I mean, I was just with him a couple hours ago.
Would you call a friend?
I was at my niece's climbing competition on Chachu duty, and being the only other rock climber in the family, like I was there to cheer her on. She came second. She did amazing. And my buddy, because it was in my school, and she's never been to my school, and I went there and I got nostalgic immediately, and I started like running up and down the stairs. My sister-in-law was there. She was like, "You're like a 30-year-old child." And I sent this video of running up and down the stairs to this dude who was in school with me, this friend of mine, and he's like, "You have no right to hit me like that." And then he showed up.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, he's like, because it was just and he showed up, and then we were just two kids at school watching my niece now, doing this climbing competition. And he's like, "This is so weird, man. Why am I invested in like a girls' climbing competition on a Sunday? Like, what's going on?"
So often we hear about toxic male WhatsApp groups, and here you are sharing wholesome
the opposite
niece content.
Listen, I swear I'm not trying to be like performative or something.
No,
this literally happened today. Like,
I love that. I love that so much because I feel like you're describing male friendships that I've never heard someone describe before.
No shit.
Just to check up on each other?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. Should I call him?
I kind of want you to.
Just be ready for him to not pick up the phone. Okay. That guy.
Okay, let's see. And you're putting it on speakerphone?
Is that...
Confidence.
Step 1 is him picking up the phone. He was like, "I've been too available for you today." Like, literally. Okay, then let's see what happens.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available.
Should you leave a voicemail?
Please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Dude, I just want you to have a good night.
Wow. Normalize male friendships where you just call and check in on each other.
I told you he's not going to pick up.
Props to you.
Yeah.
Props to
But
you.
then again, he was like with me at my niece's climbing competition 2 hours ago. So like, I can't even...
I love it.
What do I do?
I love it so much.
What do I do?
That's so cool. I really, really applaud that. Let's pivot. Let's pivot to your work for a second. Homebound. Everyone and their mothers has messaged me about this movie, Homebound. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So many of your roles deal with important themes, caste, identity, desire, masculinity. We all know as actors, you bring so much of yourself to the role, but you also take things back with you as well, right? You learn from each character you do. Which one of these roles has changed you the most and why?
I want to say Homebound, but I'm also like in the middle of everything and processing it. It's also the last piece of work that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
But it has by far been probably the most, and I don't want this to sound, in any way like self-important, but it's been the most transformative acting experience of my life because it continued to interact with me a lot more outside the acting part of it. And it's on Netflix, by the way. It's a film about 2 young boys in rural India, northern India, and their struggle to live a life of dignity. And what it means to be somebody on the margins of society in the world that we live in today. People are deeply moved by the end of it, but one of the reasons for it is because it makes you acutely aware of your own privileges. And we all interact with it in a very different way. But there's something very beautiful that this film does in that it makes you open to listening and open to a conversation. You know, this is not a film that has been made with political agenda, even though it talks a lot about society as it were today. I think it was a Variety review, if I'm not wrong, that said beautifully, it said that this is not an anti-establishment film, but it's a pro-humanity film. And I just think that's very rare. Even as an audience, objectively speaking, like to me, I feel it's an important film. And I'm very proud of it. Like, this is the film I'm proudest of in my career. And even outside of my own experience with it and what it means to me as an actor and all the prestige that it's brought to me with, you know, the amazing ovation and response that we had at Cannes. And we're really, you know, trying to do our due diligence and just show this film to as many people as possible, because I think I'm just proud of the fact that the film that is representing India is the film that is talking about humanity, compassion, empathy, all things that we need today more of, you know. It's trying to also empathize with the adversary. We can agree to disagree, but at the very least, we have to be able to acknowledge each other's humanity and right to dignity.
Absolutely. I want to talk a little bit about The Perfect Couple, because that was like I started this, you know.
Yeah.
That was a huge success.
You didn't know about me before Perfect Couple?
You want my honest answer?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Hell yes, more of those anytime.
I didn't. I don't know if I'm like, you know, that they see in Hollywood, so all the people are like seeing me on a Zoom and they're like, oh, she's Indian, let me bring up the Indian guy from A Perfect Couple. I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah.
But so many people brought it up to me.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, you know, when you get global success like that, it's really cool. I imagine it's also a little bit of pressure. Did you feel any type of pressure around, oh, now I have a responsibility to be like the representation of a good Indian boy, or I have to show them what an Indian man is now, and I have to be this like token person for them? Did you feel that way at all?
No, quite the opposite.
Really?
Actually,
You tell.
Yeah. What I liked about the part in The Perfect Couple, Shooter Diwal, even though it's a bit of an ambiguous name.
Yeah.
But also it was a bit of an ambiguous part. Like, you know, there was a mystery to this part that made it so that I think if I had a free hand of all the roles, because it's this ensemble show, right, I would probably pick that one. And that's what made it such a juicy opportunity for me, is that it was just a part. It was not the typical Indian role. It was not the token representation part that we often see that is reserved for people that, you know, look like us or come from where we come from. It was refreshing to me on the page, but once I saw the response to it after the show release, we put in the work, I realized the importance of that kind of representation, because a lot of young men have come up to me, and a lot of women too, from the diaspora, or, you know, people that are living all around the world. And they'll be like, man, I'm really proud to see that you did that, you know. Or they'll see me on Times Square on like a hoarding for Boss and be like, I never had that role model growing up. You know, I'm really glad that my son does, or I'm really glad that my younger brother does, or, you know, that's a wonderful feeling. But it's also like, it's about time, you know. I think a lot of people spoke about how we see, especially Indian men, kind of as the sexless, you know, kind of character in a show, or the goofy character, or you never really see them as the object of desire, for example. Which is where even that became something that popped out for people, you know. Even though it was an entertaining show, it was like a whodunit murder mystery, it became a larger conversation, you know. Like, the other day, a few weeks ago, I saw this poetry that seems to have gone viral in New York amongst, you know, poets and literature people, and on these cultural social media pages, etc., about like Shooter Diwal and the almond skin and the something. And like, while there is a gaze to that as well, like, I just thought it was so interesting that this is a moment that has come this late, you know, in the day. And so I did enjoy that. For me, it's more and more important now to kind of double down on that in a sense. Not that I'm averse to doing any kind of work, but I don't want to do roles that feel like they are reserved for you, or like token roles. I want to kind of break that glass ceiling and double down on that and just do parts. Like somebody that looks like me, can talk like anyone and, can be a global citizen.
Yeah.
So I hope that, that is going to be a reality sooner than later. And I'm proud to be able to kind of scratch the surface of that conversation. And
I totally agree. And I'll be even more blunt and say it that I know as an actor, you want to be known for your art and known for your work and known for your performance. But when I saw you, I was like, yes, hot guy. Yes, Indian hot guy on screen. Because of exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
I feel like Indian people in general, but especially Indian men, they don't get those roses.
Yeah.
They're so often seen just a certain way. So when I saw you, I was like, yes, of course, I care about his talent. Of course, I care about his performance. Never before has someone...
we come from the land of Kama Sutra.
You know what I'm saying? We just start acting like it a little bit.
Yeah.
We start acting like it a little bit. So I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
This is a very honest question. And how am I going to ask this?
Shoot.
Okay, I'm just going to ask you. Does global validation hit differently?
Yes, it does.
Did it change anything for you internally?
There's that saying of being like a big fish in a small pond, or, a little fish in a big pond, or, and everyone wants to go for the sweet spot and be a big fish in a big pond kind of thing. I think it is easy to get comfortable, and I'm not interested in kind of starting to believe in my own mythology or my own hype. For me, excellence and growth actually is my pursuit. And that's what matters to me. And also we grow up, first of all, cinema in itself is a universal language. That's the first thing that, one must acknowledge, is that it goes beyond borders and it goes beyond languages. And we've been seeing that with a film like Homebound, for example. As the saying goes, the more specific, the more universal, local is global in so many ways.
Yep.
We did nothing to pander and to make these characters accessible to the Western world. But so much of the love that we're getting is from there because there is a universality to the human experience, right? So coming back to this thing, like it is uncomfortable to be in a place where people don't know you and don't recognize you. By the time I became an actor in India, I was largely recognized as the brother of a star, Shahid Kapoor, and he was the first bona fide movie star in our family. And in so many ways, he has been my idol. We've had such a similar journey where I started at 21 years old. He started at 21 years old. I grew up watching him and learning so much from him. And like he says, I also had the privilege of watching him make mistakes. And I had the privilege of watching him through his triumphs and see the beauty and the growth. And it did inform me, and I did have that kind of advantage of at least knowing what I wanted to do to some degree when I started. When I stepped into the American entertainment industry, it was scratch, and it is scratch in many ways. Like it's not so long ago. And there is a discomfort and a hustle in not being around people that know your journey, And I think I was probably only able to do that because I'm comfortable with who I am, which is why, coming back to what you asked me earlier, maybe I've not done a lot of typical conventional things and like focused on creating an image for myself, etc. Because it's more important to me first to build the person through whom I can build an image, I am very privileged to do what I love to do, So that already simplifies most things for me. Now it's about being excellent at what I do. Hopefully what I want will come from that.
Your relationship with your brother, is he someone you could also call to check in?
He does.
He does. You guys have that.
He's actually very emotionally sound. And I literally call him Baba Sasha. Like he's like the Baba in my life. Like the pearls of wisdom often come from him. I think I'm the most vulnerable about him emotionally.
Really? With him, you mean? Sharing things with him?
Sharing things with him, being myself fully with him. And he's doing the same. And now we found this beautiful friendship. And so he does call to check up on me. I call to check up on him.
Does he openly share with you when he makes mistakes?
That's interesting. Yes, in retrospect, he does. Not when I'm calling them out.
Not in the moment,
No.
just after.
He's like, you know what I did that was wrong 15 years ago?
Better late than never.
Yeah. No, but he does. He does. I actually think it's a superpower to be able to do that. It's much easier to course correct while you're going wrong than afterwards.
I agree.
Right?
I think knowing when you're messing up and making mistakes and admitting it is so important.
Because everyone messes up.
Totally.
That's like the whole thing of being human.
Yes, you're denying yourself growth.
What was it that I think I read? I think it was an Olympian or a champion or somebody who said this. Maybe I asked them, what would you tell your 15-year-old self? And I think they said, make mistakes sooner. Like, get over them.
Yeah.
It's literally synonymous
I
with
like
success.
that. Make mistakes sooner. I like that a
Just
lot.
get out of the way.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, next tattoo idea. Let's go.
Let's go. No regrets.
No regrets. I'm gonna get you to be open for just a few more minutes because we're gonna do some shameless confessions. Okay.
Okay, go.
I got some fun prompts for you, and you gotta give me some confessions. All
Cool.
right.
It wasn't me.
Okay, perfect. One thing you're shamelessly dramatic about.
Shamelessly dramatic about my art. Yeah, sometimes like I clock myself. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, you know, like just
You're like a
go to
sensitive
work.
artist.
You
I'm
know,
like that too. I get very sensitive artist about
Yeah,
things. And I'm like, just relax, take a step backwards. It's just a joke. Let it go. 100% same.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a little bit of a spicy.
Yeah.
Describe your dream first date.
My dream first date. Losing track of time, talking. I mean, I want to say having a good meal, but like maybe you don't want to, you know, have too good a meal on your first date. You know, just
Losing
a fog.
track of time is really good.
Losing track of time. You know, I've experienced that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's like, oh shit, it's, you know,
What's the longest date you've been on when you've lost track of time?
all night, you know, just talking.
Just talking, emphasis.
I
Okay.
know.
What's your red flag?
My red flag. Sometimes I think I can be too intense, maybe too intense too soon as well. Like you do want to have a balance in a relationship. And when the dynamic of giving versus taking tips, even if you're the giver, somewhere you're at fault.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and then you build patterns of resentment, and you know. So I've definitely been that. I've done that.
Same.
You know.
Are you often the giver in a relationship?
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah. I
100%
wouldn't
same.
hesitate to say that.
Yes, me too.
It comes very naturally to me.
And that's why I agree that, sure, some people are takers, but it's also on the giver to keep giving when it's not being reciprocated. Yes. Okay.
But it's not like that can't be a chip on your shoulder that you're a giver. It's who you are, for better or for worse, right? But like having said that, it's amazing to have another giver.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Because then it's just so balanced and easy.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
like you scratch my back, I scratch your head. It's all
Everyone's back is scratched.
Everyone's
There's
back
no
is
itchy backs.
Yeah.
100%. When was the last time you cried?
like a month ago.
Do you remember what it was about?
Yeah, I was just overwhelmed, you know. I'm trying to be the best version of myself in every aspect of my life. And that's like you're putting pressure on yourself and being hard on yourself. And like, you know. So I think maybe I had one of those moments. But I was able to kind of have lovely people around me. I could luckily be vulnerable in front of someone.
Totally.
And then weight was off my chest. So
what's the most outrageous rumor you've ever heard about yourself?
okay, let's start. I recently read, so there's one that is like sustained over the years, which was on my first film, Beyond the Clouds, with the great Iranian filmmaker Majid Majidi, who was literally like a father figure to me.
Okay.
He's such a pioneer of what he does, and he was like university for me as an actor, and he really pushed me. He pushed me to become more of what I always wanted to be and pushed me in that direction and reassured me. But like we had the best relationship. And then I saw an article about how we had a Cold War on set. I'm like, what even is that? Like, what is a Cold War? Like, Ishaan Khatter and Majid Majidi have a Cold War on set. Like, what are we on the opposite ends of, like, our trailers, like, staring each other down? And, like, what? I don't even know what that is. I was like, ye kya hai? You know, so anyway. And then recently I read some like, I think Reddit is like a wild place to.
I never step foot on Reddit.
And I might be shooting myself in the foot here, but like I saw this one thing that said like I was at Soho House with my friends and I made a ruckus and then I didn't pay the bill and I left and they called my brother to pay the bill and he had to pay the bill. I was like, what? Wait, what? Huh? Like what even? You know, like so that was just.
You're brave for going on. I've never done that till this day. I do not have the heart to do that.
But it was silly. Like, it wasn't even like, I was like, where's the spice? Like, you know, like, I didn't pay a bill and, like, my brother had to pay the bill for me. Like, what is that even? So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of a lame one. Yeah.
I can't wait to comment on that subreddit to be like, I heard it's true. I heard it's true. Confirmed. I met him today. He told me all about it.
Yeah.
Ishaan, you've been so open and honest.
I specifically had a good time.
I specifically had a good time with you as well. Thank you so much for being on Shameless. I
Thanks
appreciate
for having
you.
me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ishaan, why should people subscribe to this channel? Let them know.
I think Lilly is a great conversationalist. And I had a lot of fun being shameless with her. And so I think it's a way to exercise your own demons watching people being shameless.
Oh my God, so charming. Like, comment, and subscribe.